Hello and welcome to the Happy Little Futures podcast. As always, let's take a nice deep breath in through our nose and out through your mouth. Fantastic. So today I'm doing something slightly different. I have come to the park because it is a beautiful day. Spring is definitely taking hold, and I am going to record a podcast in the park. And I thought I'd just talk a little bit about just stepping out of our comfort zones, because it's something that is very difficult to do, and that actually mindfulness can help us with quite a lot. So stepping out of our comfort zone, as I said, can be extremely difficult, and I think that meditation and mindfulness can help quite a lot in doing that, in supporting us through these sort of bigger changes. So I wanted to just talk a little bit more about me in the park because for weeks now I've been driving through, and as the weather's got nicer, I drop my littlest off at nursery at 12:30 every day, and I've been looking at the parks and the green spaces as I'm driving home. I've been thinking, I just want to go sit in a park and read a book. I just want to go do this, but I've got housework to do, I've got normal work to do, I should be doing this. What am I going to do with my life? And I know you might be listening to this going, but you're doing this, Lucy. I am doing this. But I still have all those questions going through my head, and it's, do I want to push further in some other direction, or what do I actually want to, what's the direction that I want to go with a lot of things and stuff like that. And every day I've looked out at the parks, I've looked out at the green spaces, I've seen the blue sky. I mean, honestly, there's not a cloud in sight today. And I've gone, I just want to sit in a park. And yesterday I had a moment where I was listening to The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, which is so far so good. I'm enjoying it. And it's working quite nicely in conjunction with things that I'm working on in therapy, which is again sort of a personal choice and one that I'm really enjoying the journey of. And I sat there and I just had this moment where I was like, this is what I want to do. This is like what I've always wanted to do, and I can do all of my work in the park. I can set aside that time. I can just go to the park. If I end up sitting there and not doing any work because I'm just watching the world go by, that's okay, because actually I'm practicing mindfulness, and clearly in that moment my body needs that and my mind needs that. And if I can do work, I will do work. And I think I've started to come to this conclusion that quite often the thing that's holding us back is ourselves. And there's been a bit of a self-talk in the background of, will people think that it's weird if I do that? What if I don't get enough work done? What if I don't do this? What if I don't do that? All the what ifs and all the what will others think and stuff like that. And ultimately it doesn't matter, because if I come to the park to do my work, I'm doing the one thing that I have looked at doing and wanted to do for ages. And clearly I think in the background my body and mind need that fresh air, that vitamin D, that space, that you might be able to hear the birds in the background. I'm hoping you can't hear too much of the of the piling drill in the background, but it's clearly something that my body and mind needs. However, going to a park on my own is not something that I've really ever done. I've done it with the dog, I've done it with my husband, I've done it with the kids, I've done it with friends when we were at uni, when we were kids. And coming here on my own today was sort of a big I'm not sure about this. And I think I'm not sure about this because of all the what ifs and what will people think. And also I'm not sure about this because it's new to me. It's out of my comfort zone. It could be lonely. I might feel lonely. I might not feel lonely. It could be uncomfortable. sort of trying to like seeing myself as that person that you see in parks on their own working. Like, I don't know. I was just like, what if? So it's been a bit of a two-step process, really, for me. It's been a one step of telling myself to be fair, this afternoon I spent all morning going, this afternoon I'm going to go to the library and I'm going to work in the library and I'll do that in the library. Clearly that hasn't happened, because then I started to about 11 o'clock, I started to get the midday exhaustion that I seem to get at the moment kicking in. And I was like, I think I should just go home and lie down and try and get myself a little bit better and build up that energy to pick the kids up and stuff. And then I was like, no, I want to be out the house. I don't want to be in the house. So again, it was breaking that comfort zone of what I want to do, what is go to sleep, but recognizing that actually what I need to do is be out the house, and that will probably give me, like they say, a change is as good as a rest, isn't it? So then I was like, well, what can I do? And it's like, I can go to the park, I can lie in the sun, I can sit in the sun, I can work through, I can journal, I can find things to do, or I can just be, and I can meditate, I can just be mindful, I can just be present. What's been lovely is I've been here 20 minutes, if that, and I've said hello to 3 dogs already. And they've come over, they've seen me, they've come over and they've just given me a quick nuzzle, a quick hello, and then walked off, and they've all been lovely. And when my own dog couldn't come with me for this afternoon, that was a nice sort of bit of reassurance to have. So first part was recognizing that this is something that I want to do, even though I'm not sure how to do it. I'm not sure whether it'll be something that I'm comfortable with in the moment or whether it won't be. And recognizing that I am allowed to take this time and it will be good for me one way or another. The second part is, like I said, all those discomforts, all those uncomfortable feelings, not being in the comfort zone of my own home, my own 4 walls. I think especially since COVID, that's a big thing for a lot of us, isn't it? And then working through that. And so to sort of manage that, I have driven to the park. I was prepared that if my anxiety, if the what ifs, if the self-judgment and stuff like that took over, I was prepared that I might want to leave again and go home. I was prepared that I could go to the library if I wanted and do that. So that was all there as an option. But I was like, before I do anything, I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to drive to the park. Yes, it doesn't give me the same amount of time that I'd quite like to listen to my audiobook that I like to do once I've dropped the kids off, but it gives me that space, it gives me that drive. I can always listen to my audiobook in the park if I want, and I can see what happens. I had the concern that it might be too cold, they might have just mowed the grass, my hands would go crazy because I do have a bit of a reaction with eczema to freshly mown grass. But it's just like I can make that decision when I get there. But the first thing was just sort of almost breaking that cycle of heading home to that comfort zone, taking that breath and just go, no, even if I just drive there, I will drive there and I will go there before I decide what my next step will be. And then once here, I sort of got out the car, got my stuff out the car and looked around. I was like, well, now what? Now what do I do? And I think this is where the being mindful really comes in. This is where having that presence of mind, that ability, having practiced it, to just be in that moment is really, really helpful. Because I just walked. I didn't have any particular aim. I was just like, I'm just going to walk. I'm just going to enjoy the feeling of the grass under my feet, enjoy the fact that my shoes aren't getting muddy as I do that, enjoy the sound of the birds, enjoy the wind, like recognize that it's actually quite warm, and be mindful with those senses in this moment. And I think that is such a big step to take for so many of us. When we are feeling overwhelmed, when we are feeling uncomfortable, when we are feeling stressed, anxious, all of those different things, just stepping back and recognizing what's going on in your body and your mind, what's like the different senses and stuff like that, how those can come into play with us, is by just observing, like that 5 4 3 2 1 that we do. So 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can touch, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste, or 5 things that you can feel, 4 things that you can see. You see what I mean? Whatever order you'd like to do them in. But recognizing those different senses, engaging with those senses, engaging with that present moment, it can just really help to ground you in that moment. It can help you to become an observer rather than a feeler of what's going on in your body. And you can then begin to sort of like be present in that moment and take action as you go forward, having grounded yourself. So before I carry on, I just want to say a quick thanks to our sponsor, Rowan Fox Clothing, who are a sustainable clothing brand with wonderful wildlife inspired designs, and you can find their clothes and other items at rowanfox.com or check out Facebook or Instagram. So recognizing in our bodies, in our senses and stuff like that, is a big way that we can really sort of engage with where we're at, engage with what we want, engage with what we need on top of everything else. And I think once you've done that, then starting to move forwards with, okay, so what do I want to do from here? So for me, I was just mindful. I was like, I just want to follow my feet. I'm just going to walk and see where I end up. I didn't end up too far away because I didn't really want to strain my neck, which is a bit bad. And I've got a big bag full of notebooks and stuff to fill in. But I was like, I'm just going to follow my feet, see where I end up, and I'm just going to plonk down a blanket. And I was like, I want to be lying down. I don't want to be on a bench. So that was, for me, that was a big, like, those are my thoughts, those are my aims. But ultimately, I'm just going to be mindful and just follow my feet in this moment. For others, if you're feeling anxious and stuff like that, a great way to begin with just moving on, with helping us to sort of step through those uncomfortable feelings, is to take a deep breath. When we slow our breathing, when we're mindful with our breathing and begin to breathe deeper, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It begins to soothe our system and calm that fight or flight response, calm that sort of amygdala, and that sort of, as they call it, I've never spoken about it like this in the past, that lizard brain, that sort of basic instinct of there's danger, there's worry, there's all of that sort of stuff. I need to be on guard. So by just taking a simple breath and beginning to ground yourself in those breaths and be mindful, you can start to reset your system, find a little bit more peace, and then move forwards with what you're doing. So had I have had a lot of anxiety as I was getting out the car, which wasn't shifting, and when I have had things like panic attacks in the past or been struggling, very stressed and stuff like that, choosing a breathing technique that involves breathing in through my nose for a shorter amount of time and out through my mouth for a longer amount of time has been absolutely key. And again, sort of those longer out breaths really help to activate that parasympathetic nervous system. So we're going to try now, just because we can, we're going to try breathing in for 7 and out for 11. So these are quite long breaths. If you find that you struggle, I want you to have a go at doing it for an amount of time that feels more comfortable for you. So if you get yourself comfortable, get yourself a nice straight spine, and try and breathe into your stomach rather than your chest. And we'll breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. In. And out. In. And out. In. And out. Now I want you to just gently allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. As you do that, I want you to really focus in on that point where you feel your breath most. It might be on the tip of your nose, in the back of your throat, or in the rise and fall of your chest or stomach. But I just want you to take a moment just to really connect with that breath. Connect with where you feel it. Allow it to settle. And then just let it go. Let go of that point, that breath. And just know that you can reconnect with that and help to, like I said, engage that parasympathetic nervous system, really sort of like connect with that parasympathetic nervous system and calm yourself, ground yourself in moments as you go through your day, just by doing those simple exercises. And it might help you to move through uncomfortable situations. It might help you to just stay in a more level place. It might just be something that you just enjoy practicing, just as a bit of a, oh, okay, I'll give this a go every so often. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes to engage with that. The easier it becomes to use it as a tool in a moment when you're struggling to help calm and activate that parasympathetic nervous system. So with that, I'm hoping that this has given you some food for thought. And I'm going to love you and leave you. And we're going to take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Fantastic. And I will see you soon.